What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we are going to have a look at Zelos' latest release, the Hammerhead 3, which Zelos was kind enough to send in for a review, so huge thanks to them for letting me check it out. I have the fully lumed frost dial here, which is the one I specifically asked for. We're going to have a closer look at it in a minute, but let me just say that I'm really impressed with it, because besides looking great and having an insane lume, the bracelet of this thing is fantastic. In case you've never heard of Zelos, it's a microbrand watch company which started back in 2014 via hugely successful Kickstarter campaigns. Their watches are very high quality and they are very reasonably priced, which is why I've been very interested in reviewing this one, the Hammerhead 3, that they released last week. Before we dive into the review, let me show you real quick all the other dial color options that you can, or well, that you could choose from, since a few of them have already been sold out. It was really tough for me to choose one as they all look fantastic, but what made my decision easier was the fact that none of the watches in my collection has a stainless steel bezel insert or a fully lumed dial. Needless to say that I'm very happy with my choice, as this dial with black indices is a real stunner in person. So if you're interested in getting one of these, you better hurry up guys, because Zelos has produced between 300 and 500 pieces of each color variant, and at the current price of $349 US, I don't think they will last much longer. Another thing you should keep in mind is that this is a special launch price, which will be increased by $100 at the end of this month. Alright, here is the box that the watch comes in. I think the overall packaging and presentation are really impressive, considering that this watch costs less than €300. The wooden box is definitely something that you don't see very often from a micro brand. Inside of it you will find this very nice leather case, inside of which your Zelos Hammerhead 3 is waiting to be unleashed, and of course you get a metal warranty card as you would with any other Zelos watch. Now let's start talking about the watch itself. As always, we'll go through the dimensions first, which I'm sure some people might be concerned about, as the case diameter is 44mm. But guys, thanks to the shorter 48mm lug to lug, this is actually a watch that even people with smaller wrists than mine can easily pull off. It's also slimmer compared to the previous generation. With the crystal included, this one comes at about 15mm. Finally, the spacing between the lugs is 22mm. Overall guys, I think that this is a very wearable watch, and as you can see, it perfectly fits on my 17cm or 6.7 inch wrist. It has a ton of wrist presence, and on top of that it's super comfortable thanks to the excellent bracelet and clasp, which I'll talk about in a minute. When it comes to the design, I honestly think that Zelos has done a great job here, because when it comes to my personal preferences, this watch ticks a lot of boxes for me, and if you follow my channel, then you know that I prefer bigger, heavier watches just like this Hammerhead 3. I just love how aggressive it looks due to the angular cushion-shaped case, and because of all these facets, both the watch and the bracelet reflect the light in a way which makes the watch look more premium. That obviously has to do with the finishing, which is very good. Then the case is mostly vertically brushed, but the upper part right here is actually bead blasted, which was a pleasant surprise as I didn't know about it. And guys, this Hammerhead 3 is built just as well as it looks. The build quality is solid and the tolerances are very tight. When you hold it in your hand, it feels like one big chunk of metal, although it's not that heavy. Sized for my wrist, it weighs about 207 grams. Well, it is a little bit heavy, which is about the same as my Omega Planet Ocean. Then you get a water resistance of 300 meters, which is ensured by the screw-down crown and case back. The next thing I want to talk about is the bracelet. As I mentioned a moment ago, it's fantastic guys, it feels very solid. The individual links are joined together by screws. It's 22mm wide, but it tapers down to 20, and then it goes back to 22 for the clasp. The finishing is once again very nice, there are no sharp edges, and the articulation is very good as well. And you know, I've been wearing this watch at work for 8 hours straight for the past 6 days, and all I can say is that I'm very surprised by how comfortable it is, considering it's 44mm wide and over 200 grams heavy. Now have a look at the clasp as well. It's milled out, beautifully finished, and it carries the Zelos logo. However, the best part about it is the micro adjustment on the go mechanism, which is something that you don't really know you need until you have it, and when you have it, you wish that every single watch came with it. It is really that useful. Moving on, let's take a look at the beautiful snow white dial, which sits behind a thick double-domed sapphire crystal with AR coating underneath. It's very clean guys, very legible, and it goes really well with the black hour markers. You also get some cyan or teal blue accents, which together with the greenish lumed markings on the bezel, contrast with the otherwise monochrome look of the watch. Finally, there is a date window at 6 o'clock, which is nicely integrated, and it has a white matching date wheel. And before I turn off the lights and show you the lume, let's check the bezel. It has 120 clicks and the action is great. The knurling on it provides you with plenty of grip, so it's very easy to turn and there is absolutely no back play. On top of that, the stainless steel bezel insert is fully lumed, and if you're familiar with Zelos, then you know that this brand is well known for the huge amounts of superluminova that it applies to its watches. So yes, the bezel insert is fully lumed, but so is the dial. The lume on the bezel is superluminova C3, while the dial looks like it has been completely drowned in BGW9. Killer combination in my opinion, guys, and I think that this is the first watch with a lumed crown that I have ever handled. Totally unnecessary, but you have to admit it looks dope. For comparison, here's my Planet Ocean with a fully lumed bezel insert as well. It used to be the watch with the best lume in my collection, but I'm not so sure anymore. Now, if you turn the watch around, you will see the beautiful solid steel case back. It's embossed with 2 hammerhead sharks, and even here the finishing is exceptional, guys. On it you will also find some of the specifications of the watch, such as sapphire crystal, 300 meters water resistant, and Seiko movement. It's the NH35, which in my opinion is a great choice for any watch in this price range, simply because it works. I mean, it's durable, accurate, and easy to service. Personally, I've never had a problem with an NH35 movement, and in my experience they are more reliable and accurate than Seiko's 6-hour movements, which are supposed to be better, but that's a topic for another video. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that the NH35 is a workhorse movement, which should serve you well for a very long time. So, are there any negatives then? Well, I'm very happy to say, guys, that I can't really think of any. I absolutely love this watch, and my only recommendation is that you prepare yourself some really tiny screwdrivers for the bracelet, because the screws are a bit on the small side. I believe a 1.2mm screwdriver will do the job. Finally, if you're still unsure about the dimensions, here is a small comparison for you to draw your own conclusions. This is my Omega Planet Ocean with a 43.5mm case and 42mm lug-to-lug, and it weighs almost the same, 201 grams. Then this is my Tudor Black Bay 41mm with a lug-to-lug of 50mm. And these two have pretty much the same thickness, 14 point something, 15mm. Finally, here is my Orient Kamasu, which is 42mm wide, while the lug-to-lug is only 47mm. Obviously, the Hammerhead is a substantial watch and it looks big due to its angular design. However, it's very wearable and it does look good on smaller wrists like mine. And it's time for this video to come to an end. My final words are that for $349 US, which is less than 300 euro, you're getting a killer watch which packs a tremendous amount of value. The build quality of this Zelos, guys, is outstanding, as you have seen. The bracelet and the clasp are great, and the lume can prevent you from getting lost in the dark. So if you like big, bold and beautiful watches, then you should definitely consider this one. That's the end of the video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I have some really cool watches coming my way, so subscribe if you haven't. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.